all football game long. Can they move it effectively against the Wagner defense? Wagner, a tough program. And again, the expectations may not be that they're going to win this football game, but it sounds like Coach Callahan definitely wants this thing to be competitive.
They're going to be competitive. Now they're playing against the big boys. This is the toughest competition that the Hawks will play all year. Taking a look at the starting offense for the Wagner Seahawks as we look across the offensive line. Starting at tight end, Bill Summers out of Rutherford High School, freshman, 6'2", 225. There are 3 freshmen on this offensive line. That could be a weak spot for the Seahawks. At left tackle, Vincent Carapasso out of Eastchester High School in Scarsdale. Left guard, Phil Hurt, 6'1", 240 senior out of Totenville on Staten Island. The center, John Uriola out of Kearney, New Jersey. He's a freshman, 235. Vince Derome, another freshman. He's out of Toms River East, out of the Raider program, 6'2", 220 freshman. And Tony Kapua is on the right tackle. He is out of Springfield, Massachusetts. The wide receiver, Kevin Daniels out of East Meadow, New York. The split end is Sean Hurley out of Oxford, Massachusetts. Looking at the quarterback, Jason Q. Earlier with Henry, we were talking about the nomad life that Jason Q has led. He was on an athletic scholarship with Rutgers. They got Brian Forte. He moved up to Maine, didn't get any playing time with the Black Bears, and now he is here in Wagner as a junior at a Bogota High School. Chris Purdy coming into today's game, 13 touchdowns on the year, 6'0", 220 junior out of Livingston High School, and Tito Lockwood out of Rockville Center, New York, and he comes in with an average of 4.9 per carry, 367 yards on the ground.
This is a dominating rushing team, Dave, as you've mentioned. They've got a couple other guys that will come off the bench and will run the football. And Brian Prescott is one of them, and Tremaine Hughes. When you talk about the 4 main running backs, and Lockwood, Purdy, Hughes, and Prescott, you're talking about 4 guys that have rushed for nearly 1,000 yards rushing. They do like to keep it on the ground. Great story about Jason Q. He has been a bit of a nomad. He has traveled around. He's had the chance to play this year. He's completed only 46% of his passes, but yet he has thrown for 11 touchdowns. He's a good physically built quarterback, 6'3", somewhere around the 200-pound range. He's got pretty good mobility. This is his team. And even though they dominantly run the football, I think if Monmouth's not careful, Q could hurt them in certain aspects of this game. Again, a 7-1 football program. This is the best that they have to offer as far as what's on the schedule as an opponent. You got to watch out. Even if Q's numbers may not be the best in the world, he's led his team nicely this season.
Taking a look at the defense, it's got to stop the Seahawks. On the defensive line, Tim Canavan once again getting the start out of Middletown South, 3.5 sacks coming on the year. Peter Jones out of Bishop R. High School, the junior, 6'2", 240 on the line. Victor Cintron with 2.5 sacks out of Bloomfield. And Craig Warren getting the start, the junior out of Shore Regional with 2 sacks on the year. At the corners, Michael James and Carey Parks. The linebackers, Joe Little getting a start out of Middletown South, coming in with 18 unassisted tackles. Chris Orsagna in the middle of the 4-3 defense, playing at the middle linebacker, 16 unassisted tackles out of Edison. And Mick Szymanski is going to start. Now, he had a bad knee 2 weeks ago. He's a freshman out of East Brunswick, and he will, they'll see how far he goes. He will get the start, but don't be surprised if we see John Adatuzzi come in out of Rutherford. The 2 safeties, David Lewis and Joe Quelly, both of them with 1 interception. Actually, Quelly with 2 interceptions on the year. And they are the ones who are going to try to stop the Seahawks.
And let's not forget that the Monmouth defense, 15 quarterback sacks this season. They're averaging 3 sacks a game. And the key being Tim Canavan as one of those guys with 3.5 sacks. And let's not forget to mention Joe Little. This guy is leading the team in unassisted and assisted tackles. 38 total tackles this season for Joe Little. He has been the man that has benefited from the front 4 penetration. It seems like when the front 4 gets through, Joe Little or Chris Orsagna have been the 2 guys that have benefited the most from that front 4 penetration.
We'll quickly take a look at Monmouth's side of the ball when we return in 2 minutes here on the Monmouth Football Radio Network.
Motorola brings you Radius, the first clearly affordable compact 2-way radio. Now AR Communications, 91 Main Street, Highway 35 in Eatontown, has the wonderful new Radius by Motorola. These 2-way radios bring you cleaner, clearer transmission and reception at a price as small as they are. The portable model is less than 6.5 inches long, yet it packs all the power you need to keep in touch. Motorola designed Radius not only to be tough, but also for simple reflex operation. When seconds count, just push the button and talk. Radius comes in both portable and mobile units, and they're clearly affordable. You get Motorola quality, the standard of police and fire departments across the country. AR Communications has the complete line of Radius by Motorola. It's more than a radio, it's Radius. AR Communications, 91 Main Street, Highway 35 at the main gate of Fort Monmouth, Eatontown. Call 542-8695 for all your communications requirements. 542-8695. That's 542-8695. Radius by Motorola, the first clearly affordable two-way radio.
When you need insurance, turn to an agency you can trust. Turn to the Frank D. Fish Agency of Long Branch for all your insurance needs. They provide a professional, experienced staff to handle all your insurance needs. Service is important, and so is experience. At the Frank D. Fish Agency, service and experience have made them a leader for all forms of personal insurance, including auto, homeowners, life, and health. They also specialize in commercial insurance to cover the needs of merchants, manufacturers, professionals, and contractors, including bonding. Frank D. Fish has been in the business for 45 years. His son, Tom Fish, continues the same tradition of service and experience. Frank D. Fish Agency of Long Branch is a member of the Professional Insurance Agent Association and an independent insurance agent. For all your insurance needs, call 870-0051. That's 870-0051. Service is important, and so is experience. Trust the Frank D. Fish Agency.
We're back here live at Kessler Field, where the Monmouth Hawks will be taking on the Seahawks of Wagner College out of Staten Island. We took a look at what happens when Wagner has the ball, when Monmouth has the ball. It's really going to hurt the loss of Dominic Caniglio. Again, you heard Coach Callahan during the pregame show talk about the fact that Caniglio is lost for the season with mononucleosis. Taking a look at that offensive line, tight end Justin Garbolino getting the start, freshman out of Edison. Terry Murphy, the freshman out of Mahwah, 6'0", 230 at left guard. Ryan Grant, the 6'2", 230 freshman out of Pennsauken at the left guard. John Tirico, freshman out of Lodi, will be making the start at center. Mike Aquaviva moves from guard over to tackle on the right side. The freshman out of Middletown South coming in 6'2", 220. And Carmen Morano will be making the start, first time this year, the 5'11", 230 senior out of Union, freshman out of Union, and that offensive line entirely made up of freshmen. Looking at the wide receivers, William Holder out of Orange getting the start. Rick Feiner, also out of Jackson, will be making the start. In the backfield, Doug Rossback, the Ocean graduate, the sophomore, 6'3", 210, coming in, completing 55% of his passes on the year. Raph O'Neill, the tailback out of Springford High School in Swanksville, Pennsylvania, leading the Hawks with rushing 273 yards on the year, averaging 3.7 a carry. And he's joined in the backfield by Jimmy Varick out of East Brunswick, 20 carries on the year, averaging 9 per carry.
Doug Rossback, he's thrown for 1,328 yards this season, 7 TDs. The only real negative on this year has been the 11 interceptions thrown by Doug Rossback. We're about ready for the singing of the national anthem here from Kessler Field at Monmouth College football. So with that in mind,
we're not patched into the PA system.
Oh, we're not this week.
We're not patched into the PA system, but we will take this brief timeout so we can pause 15 seconds on the Monmouth Football Radio Network for station identification.
You're listening to AM 1410 WHTG, Eatontown, New Jersey. Your home for a lifetime of good music and your home for Monmouth College football.
Once again, the national anthem is going on. That's why things are so quiet here at Monmouth. Again, Monmouth coming in with a record of 1-4. The Hawks taking on Wagner. Wagner 7-1. Coming in with a 4-game win streak, a win last week at the hands of the Marist Red Foxes, 22-6. Field conditions similar to this, all 26 or all 28 points in that game scored in the first quarter.
We were mentioning on the Monmouth College offense about Doug Rossback, and with Rossback, one guy we did not mention because he's not starting today, but he is the team's leading receiver. Marcus Winters, 24 catches, 308 yards receiving, averaging about 13 yards a catch. He's going to be part of the key of the receiving game. And when you talk about Rossback throwing the football, he really mixes his passes well amongst his receivers. Not only the two starters, William Holder and Rick Feiner, but Marcus Winters, Ron Polakowski, who's caught 14 passes, and William Kelleher with 11. Dave, they really like to mix up the offenses. They've been using the 4 wide receiver set a lot. I would think today, knowing that Wagner's defense is so susceptible to the pass, we may see that 4 wideout set a lot this afternoon.
It's almost been an even 50-50 run and pass. The Hawks have run 171 times, thrown it 199 times. They average 640, well, they get 642, average 128 yards a game on the ground and average close to 275 yards through the air. Now, the Wagner defense is going to have to find a way to stop it. They found a way to stop the run. They only give up 60 yards a game, but they do give up quite a bit of yardage through the air. It's 228 yards per game.
That's got to be tough for Monmouth, considering that their ground game has really been picking up over the last couple of weeks. Ralph O'Neal, the last 2 games, this is the best we have seen him all season long. He's really been coming into his own. And Jimmy Varick, he had the one really good game, but he's been used well. He runs spot running. Not too many carries, but when he's gotten the football, he's made it happen, has made good blocks. Chad Maldonado, he's been more of the decoy back, and he's worked well in play-action pass. That's kind of a shame, Dave. They got to walk in against a Wagner defense that is so stubborn against the run, just when Monmouth is just getting everything going as a ground team. Now, all of a sudden, they may be forced to throw this football 40 times today. That may be tough for them, you know?
This defense is just absolutely incredible. As we take a look at the defensive line, sophomore out of Tappan Zee High School in Blauvelt, Vincent Fife, 14 unassisted tackles, 2 sacks, and an interception. Richard Lamposona out of Farmingville, New York, 9 unassisted tackles and a sack. William Schnell, a junior out of Stamford, Connecticut, 28 unassisted tackles, 6 sacks. Anthony Harper, junior out of James Madison High School in Brooklyn, 21 unassisted tackles, 3 sacks. So right there, just on the defensive line, you're talking 12 sacks, and that doesn't get into their linebacking core. Ryan Tobin out of Milford, Connecticut, 87 unassisted tackles and 9 sacks on the year. And then the other co-captain, Brian Devone, 44 unassisted tackles, 3 sacks, 3 interceptions. That's for the senior out of Hempstead, New York.
This could be a long afternoon for Monmouth. I hope that they are able to do some things today that they've been building momentum on, and that is a very balanced offensive attack. Again, you mentioned the absence of Dominic Caniglio. That could play a key part, knowing that you've got a kid who is making his first start on the offensive line. That's going to weaken the line a little bit. It should be interesting. What kind of time will Doug Rossback get in this football game?
Also interesting the way that they didn't stick him in the tackle position replacing Caniglio, but they moved Mike Aquaviva out and let him take Aquaviva's position at right guard.
We're underway here at Monmouth College football. The kickoff being taken by Wagner. Ball bounces at the 22. That's where they pick it up. Up to the 25. Cut it up the middle to the 27-yard line.
Tremaine Hughes on the carry there for the Seahawks. Very short kick. And I think the Hawks, we were talking in the pregame show, that was the thing that burned them last week was kickoff returns. And they might try to keep the kick short to keep the ball out of the 2 deep backs, Tito Lockwood being one of the deep backs. And again, he got 199 yards on the ground last week and also a pass reception of 58 yards against the Marist Red Foxes.
Well, Jason Q will bring up the offense on a 1st and 10 situation. Ball at the 28-yard line. I formation behind Q. He'll look to hand it off. He'll fake it. Now he'll roll out to the left and throw, and it's incomplete and almost intercepted. Number 52 on the ball, Joe Little.
In fact, all 3 linebackers for the Hawks were around that ball. It was in the hands of Joe Little, but Chris Orsagna and Mick Szymanski were all there. They all read at the southpaw, rolling to his left and throwing. I think the intended receiver over there was Kevin Daniels, but that was a very poorly thrown ball and very easily could have been picked off by the Hawks.
2nd and 10, ball still at the 28-yard line. Wagner, who likes to run the football, decided to go with the pass on 1st down. See what happens with I formation behind Q. He'll give the pitch. They'll run off to the left side and get out to about the 32-yard line.
Tito Lockwood on the carry there, but there's a flag down, and I guess it's going to be a motion call against the Seahawks, and that would put them back another 5 yards if the Hawks accept the penalty. We're waiting for the official signal, and it is offsides Monmouth.
That's a tough break for Monmouth there, which would have set up a 3rd down and 8 situation. Instead, we're looking at 2nd down and 5 with the offsides penalty. Monmouth College football is being brought to you by Frank D. Fish Insurance Agency of Long Branch and by AR Communications in Eatontown. I'm Rob Ackenport with Dave Wilson. Just underway here in the 1st quarter, 14:43 remaining, and it'll be a 2nd down and 5 situation upcoming for the Wagner College Seahawks. The ball will be spotted at about the 32, make it the 33-yard line.
The pass patterns that are really going to work best in this contest are the ones that are on the sidelines because the center of the field, and it is almost from goal line to goal line. It's from the far goal line to about the 15-yard line of the other goal line. Is just torn to shreds.
2 wide receivers go to the left side. Again on 2nd down, they will try to run the football. This time off the right side, get out to about the 36-yard line. Tito Lockwood on the carry again.
Lockwood again on the carry, and it looks like the Hawks On the stop there for the Hawks was John Montillo. He's in at linebacker. He's going to be doing quite a bit of playing at linebacker again with the injury to Nick Szymanski. Nick is going to be in and out and situational.
Setting up now a third down. We'll call it about 3 yards to go. Ball now at the 36-yard line for Wagner. Again, a team that likes to run the football. They've gone 2 straight runs. This time they'll line up 2 wide receivers to the left side. They are Sean Hurley and Kevin Daniel. I formation behind Jason Q on a third down situation. They look to run the football up the middle, and this time they stack them up.
Looks like it was Brian Prescott on the carry, but he did not get anything. They're going to give him maybe a yard. Where they're going to spot it? They're going to spot it. Yeah, they're going to give him a yard, but it's still a yard short, and it will bring up a 4th down, and the Seahawks are going to have to punt it away. And it looks like coming in to kick is Daniel Riccardi.
Riccardi will take the snap. Riccardi so far this season, talking about a guy who has been used not that much with a 7-1 football team. He's managed to average 39 yards a punt, though. He gets a good snap and gets off a good kick. That's going to force Quelly back to about the 23-yard line. That's where he'll take it. Tries to turn it upfield to the right side to the 25 to about the 26-yard line. That's where Monmouth's going to open up with their offense here in the first quarter. And Doug Rosbach, number 5, will lead out the offense, the quarterback.
Backup quarterback Anthony Abruzzi. That's where these guys get their playing time. The backup quarterback in there on special teams made a shoestring tackle. And we just right there on that punt saw the field condition come into play because as Quelly was trying to backpedal to get that punt, he seemed to lose his footing in the turf, and that might have cost him a little bit on trying to get himself settled under the kick.
Well, that's any indication of what Daniel Riccardi's capable of as a punter. That kid has got a strong leg, averaging 39 per. Got off a good one, forcing Monmouth to start offensively from the 26-yard line. Rosbach with 1 back in the offense. They open up with the 4 wide receiver set. Rosbach calling signals, going for the long count. We may have had some motion on the offensive line today.
We got too much time as the clock goes down to 0, and it looks like the Hawks are going to start off with a delay-a-game penalty.
It looked as though number 77, Terry Murphy, may have moved a little bit, but the call is going to be a false start against Monmouth.
Okay, the reason he did have the false start, though, is the clock was down to 0, so it was either way. He jumped, but they still would not have gotten the playoff because it was down to 0.
So with that, we got a 1st and 15 now situation for Monmouth. Ball will be at the 21-yard line. Still with that 4 wide receiver set. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Maldonado, the lone back in the backfield behind Doug Rosbach. On 1st down and 10, he'll look to throw the football. Deep drop back with time, sets up the screen. He'll complete it. It's Jimmy Varick at the 25 to the 30 to 35, breaks the tackle, gets to the 38-yard line. That's going to be good enough for a 1st down.
Hawks start off in the air. Jimmy Varick slipping out of the backfield, and Rosbach finding his running back in the pattern, cutting it back to the far sidelines, and that's a good deal that he moved it to the sidelines because there's going to be no traction to run in the middle. And the Hawks are rolling the offense up.
That's only Varick's 6th catch of the season, but you're talking about a guy who does average about 11 yards per reception. Nice job there by Varick. He'll stay in the backfield. Once again, the 4 wide receivers in on the set. Kelleher, Holder, Winters, and Finer in the pattern on a 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Rosbach will hand it off to Varick, who gets about 2 yards to the 40-yard line, setting up a 2nd and 8.
Vincent Fife on the defensive line making the stop. We should go over the rest of the Seahawk defense. We didn't do that before. We talked about the 2 outside linebackers in this 4-3 defense. The middle linebacker, Kevin Moran, out of Warwick, New York, 34 unassisted tackles, 3 sacks. At the cornerbacks, Roger Wiley, 22 unassisted tackles, 4 interceptions out of Brooklyn. And Roger Fitteman out of Albany, 28 unassisted tackles and 1 sack. For the other, those 2 are playing on the corners for the Seahawk defense.
Monmouth floods 3 wide receivers on 2nd down to the right side, but they'll hand it off to Varick, and Varick trying to get the quick trap. Doesn't get anywhere on that play.
On the stop there for the Seahawks, it looks like that time it was 92, Anthony Harper out of James Madison in Brooklyn. The 2 safeties for the contest for the Seahawks, James Lorenzo out of Monsignor Farrell High School, homegrown kid from Staten Island. He comes in 26 unassisted tackles, 2 sacks, 3 interceptions. And Mark Dawson out of Freehold Borough, the freshman making the start today, 16 unassisted tackles and 2 interceptions.
This time Monmouth does the I formation, but on 3rd down, Rosbach looking to throw. Goes over the middle, throws it short. It was intended for number 20, William Kelleher, but that's going to bring out Rich Barglowski in the punting unit.
Kelleher was wide open. It would have been more than enough for the 1st down. The pass was about a 12, 13-yard pattern, but again, it was a short hop to the receiver, and the Hawks are going to have to punt it away as Barglowski gets back into kicking position, and it looks like back for the Seahawks is Tremaine Hughes, as well as, I think that's Kevin Daniels back there with him as well.
Barglowski got a good snap, but a short punt. They're going to be taken at the 32-yard line by Wagner, to the 35, to the 37-yard line, and a big hit by the Monmouth defense.
Tim Canavan had his arms wrapped around the defender, but it was the one who really leveled the hit was John Montillo. The runner on that was Kevin Daniels making the reception. 10:53 left to go in this first quarter, no score, and the Seahawks tied up at nothing, and the Seahawks back on the offense with Jason Q out of Bogota High School leading his team to the offensive line.
That's a little confusing for the two of us today. The Hawks and the Seahawks, try saying that 5 times fast. I want to talk about the last offensive play because even though they didn't get the first down, it was still good to see that they ran the right pattern. On first down, though, for Wagner, they'll fake the handoff. Q, look at the throw, goes down, and he's got a receiver wide open at the 45, to the 30, to the 25, to 20, to 15, down at the 8-yard line.
Bill Summers, the tight end out of Rutherford, making the reception, and it looked like it was Joe Quelly who made the stop after getting beat on the coverage, but that is a huge gain. Again, notice that they ran the play along the sidelines where the receivers are going to get good footing. That's a pickup of pretty close to 60 yards for the Seahawks on that.
That was a great fake by Jason Q to fake the handoff, roll out to the near right side, and he found a wide-open tight end, Bill Summers. Yes, it was Quelly on the stop, saving the touchdown. So right out of the gate, Wagner here with a first and goal from the Monmouth 8-yard line. I formation behind Jason Q.
Looks like there's a timeout. Monmouth takes a timeout, and we'll take a timeout. 10:27 left to go, first quarter. No score, and you're listening to the Monmouth Football Radio Network.
Motorola brings you Radius, the first clearly affordable compact two-way radio. Now AR Communications, 91 Main Street, Highway 35 in Eatontown, has the wonderful new Radius by Motorola. These two-way radios bring you clearer transmission and reception at a price as small as they are. The portable model is less than 6.5 inches long, yet it packs all the power you need to keep in touch. Motorola designed Radius not only to be tough, but also for simple reflex operation. When seconds count, just push the button and talk. Radius comes in both portable and mobile units, and they're clearly affordable. You get Motorola quality, the standard of police and fire departments across the country. AR Communications has the complete line of Radius by Motorola. It's more than a radio, it's Radius. AR Communications, 91 Main Street, Highway 35 at the main gate of Port Monmouth, Eatontown. Call 542-8695 for all your communications requirements. 542-8695. That's 542-8695. Radius by Motorola, the first clearly affordable two-way radio.
The Seahawks are back at the line. First and goal from just outside the 9-yard line as we're back here at Kessler Field.
Jason Q brings up the offense with I formation. They're going to pitch it and run it off to the left. That's Lockwood with the ball. Cuts it back toward the middle. He'll get out to maybe the 5-yard line, setting up a second down and goal.
Stop over there on the play for the Hawks made by Joe Little, the freshman out of Middletown South.
Bill Summers, who made the big reception before we went to break, 55 yards on the catch. For Summers, only his 5th catch of the season, but he'd been averaging 20 yards per reception. Obviously, here is a guy who may not look very quick, but he can get open when they need him for the big play. And Summers' big play has set up this situation. Second down and goal, ball at the 6-yard line. I formation once again behind quarterback Jason Q for Wagner. They will pitch outside. Lockwood will try to turn it to the right side, but this time he's going to be contained and making penetration right from the get-go. Tim Canavan, number 90.
Tim Canavan not being fooled as they try to run the ball to the outside. Canavan bringing down Lockwood for about a 5-yard loss. That will move the ball out to the 12 and bring up a third and goal.
Nice play there by Canavan to contain Keto Lockwood. And when you look at Lockwood, you're talking about a guy who does average 5 yards per carry every time he touches the football. And he's coming off one of his best games of the season last week.
Something to keep in mind that this team can kick the ball. Dan Ricciardi has a 49-yard field goal so far this year.
Well, third down and goal now from the 12. Q rolling out to the left side, looking to throw. He finds nobody open. He's under pressure. He's going to be taken down for the sack.
Chris Orsagna coming up from his linebacker position. It was both Orsagna and Tim Canavan on the pursuit. Orsagna caught up to him, and another loss, this time a loss of 6 yards, and it puts the ball back at the 19. And this is going to be a tough field goal for Ricciardi to make because of the footing that he's going to get The ball is going to be placed on the left hash mark at about the 26, so we're talking a 36-yard field goal. That's a good thing. If it was on the right hash mark, he'd be getting terrible footing. At least he's got a little bit of good turf on the left side of the field.
Riccardi 6 for 10 in field goals, gets a low line driver off, and he won't get it. 2 big plays by the Monmouth defense took Wagner out of a touchdown scoring situation. Ricciardi, who was 6 for 10 with a long of 49 yards, just couldn't get anything under the football. So Monmouth dodges a big bullet with 2 big defensive plays. That's going to bring Ross back in the offense, back onto the field for the Hawks.
One of the things that the field conditions is going to do is it is going to take that part of the Wagner offense out of play for the most part. Unless you have the ball on the one side of the field inside the 20, you're not going to get good footing to make a field goal.
Feiner, Polakowski, and Marcus Winters are in as wide receivers on this 1st and 10 play. Ball at the 20-yard line for Monmouth. Rossback, quick drop back, looking to throw, pump fakes, under pressure. He's going to escape. He'll get out to the 25, still on his feet, off to the right side to the 28, to about the 30, and on great second and third effort, Rossback gets a first down.
Great play by Rossback. I'm trying to look. It was number 27, James Lorenzo, who looked like he had a good shot at him after Rossback picked up 2 or 3 yards at the 25. Wasn't able to bring him down, and they moved the ball. They going to give him the first down or not? No, they're going to spot the ball. Yes, they are going to give him the first down as the clock should be stopped, but they give him the first down. It takes them a while to move the chains, and the ball is set at the Monmouth 32-yard line.
Rossback picked up 12 on that carry, setting up another first down and 10. Doug is actually averaging 3 yards every time he runs the football. Rossback on a quick drop back, throws, completes it to Feiner at the 35, out at the 36-yard line. He'll get about 5 on the play, setting up a 2nd and 5.
James Lorenzo, the sophomore out of Staten Island, driving Feiner out of bounds, and the Hawks going back to what they got going on the first drive through the air. Again, they got the first drive, they went through the air, got the big play, then went to the ground and got nothing. So it looks like they're back to the air on this drive as they've passed both times they've had plays this possession.
Holder and Kelleher line up to the right side. It's Winters and Feiner as wide receivers to the left. One back in the backfield. Rossback calling signals right now. They'll give the handoff. Jimmy Barrett goes up the middle, picks up about 3 yards, getting close to the 40-yard line.
Stopped on there by the player. He just can pick a number because it looked like a lot of the defensive line was in on the stop. But it's going to bring up a 3rd and probably a short 3 as the ball sits at the 39-yard line of Monmouth. They need to get to the 42, just about the 42 for a first down.
This time they'll flood 3 wide receivers to the near left side. They are Feiner, Marcus Winters, William Kelleher. Barrett still in the backfield. Rossback fakes the handoff on 3rd and 3, looking to throw down the sideline, incomplete, and the closest guy to the football was number 15, Roger Wiley from Wagner.
That was not a good pass, although Rossback almost got hit. It was a pulling block by Terry Murphy that saved Rossback from just getting hammered by Vincent Fife on that one, but they're going to turn it over, and it looks like Barglowski is going to kick, and once again, back for the Seahawks is going to be Kevin Daniels and Tremaine Hughes.
Barglowski, who's averaging 32 yards per punt this season, gets a good snap, and he gets off a kick that looked like it may have been tipped, and the ball's going to roll down to the 36-yard line. Not a good kick by Barglowski.
That kick was tipped, though. That kick was definitely tipped, and it looked like it was Ryan Tobin, the co-captain out of Joseph A. Foreign High School in Milford, tipping, just running up the middle, the senior out of Milford, Connecticut, getting a hand on that one. It also looked like he might have been lined up just a tad offside, but got away with it.
Which could explain the great penetration he got on that play. But as a break for Wagner, they're going to set up with good field position. They'll get the ball at their own 36-yard line. Clock stopped right now. It's 6:42 in the first quarter. Still no score. Monmouth has done a good job on defense when they've had to. Jason Q will bring up the offense once again for the Wagner Seahawks. I formation behind him. Gives it to the fullback on first down, and they'll stack him up. Number 32, Chris Purdy, tries to find something, but he met about 4 or 5 blue shirts on that play.
What he found was Tim Canavan on that side, and just Canavan with a little bit of help from a couple of friends, Peter Jones in there, helping out on the stop, as well as Craig Warren. So not a good carry for Purdy. Purdy does not rush the ball often. I mean, he gets 72 carries, does not get a lot of yards, but he does get in the end zone. 13 touchdowns on the year.
Second down, we'll call it 10. Ball still at the 36. Q looking to throw this time. Straight drop back. The southpaw looking to throw, gets off a pass, and he's got it completed at the 45 to the 40. Lockwood down to the 35-yard line. Keto Lockwood with a nice play coming out of the backfield, making the catch and getting a first down for the Seahawks.
Joe Quelly missing a tackle. He could have had Lockwood at about the 42 or 41-yard line, but he completely missed the tackle. It was finally Chris Orsagna bringing him down at about the Monmouth 36 to stop that play. A good pressure by the Hawk defense, but there was one block, and I believe it was Phil Hurt, the left guard, really making a block on Tim Canavan that allowed Jason Q enough time to get rid of that ball.
Q brings back up the offense. First and 10, this time from the Monmouth 36-yard line, 28 yards on that pass play. And they'll look to hand it off. Keto Lockwood takes it off the right side, gets some room, gets out to the 30 to the 28-yard line. He'll get about 9 yards on that carry, setting up a second and short.
Kerry Parks, the freshman out of Lakeland Regional, teaming up with Chris Orsagna to make the stop on that one. And it looks like the Seahawks are starting to roll it up again. And it's big plays that has hurt the Monmouth defense so far this contest, because most of the yards that Wagner has got have been on two big pass plays.
Second down, we'll call it 2 to go right now. They'll give it to the fullback again, and this time, nowhere to go, and making penetration number 55 on that play, John Mendes.
John Mendes was in front of him, and a great job by Joe Little coming down the line, and he was also in on the stop. And that will bring up a loss of a yard or so, and Wagner will have a 3rd and 3 facing them with about 4:30 left to go in this first quarter.
Seems like the key right now is Keto Lockwood, who has got almost 400 yards rushing, 400 yards receiving, and a lot of return yardage. He's the dangerous man, now lining up as a flanker on this play. It's a 3rd down and 3 situation for Wagner. Q looks to throw. He does, gets it complete, and it'll be a first down. Nice coverage there by 52 Joe Little, but an even better pass there by Jason Q to thread the needle on the play.
Actually, it was Kerry Parks on the coverage. Joe Little came over and helped out on the tackle, but it was still good coverage, but the reception was made for a first down.
Setting up now a 1st and 10. They'll put the ball at about the 22-yard line for the Seahawks. Once again, they're threatening. Clock running, 4 minutes to go in the first quarter, still no score. I formation with Purdy and Lockwood behind Jason Q. Lines up 2 wide receivers to the wide left side. Q looks for the handoff, gives it to Lockwood. He'll run the football, get down to about the 18. Picking up 4 on the play, now it's 2nd down and 6.
John Mendes and Kerry Parks on the stop. But this is not a good sign, because as the Wagner Seahawks are running the ball, it's taking the cornerbacks and the linebackers to make the stop. The defensive line of the Hawks are not stopping the running game, and that's something they need to do, is get this running game stopped. Again, this running game for the Hawks coming in averaging 221 yards a game, and they are averaging 131 yards a game on the ground, 221 through the air. 17 rushing touchdowns for Wagner this season.
Q has had to rush the offense up there because the play clock's down to 2. He'll get it off on 2nd down. He rolls out to the right, looking to throw, gets off a pass, incomplete, and almost intercepted by number 40, Kerry Parks.
Tony Kapua on that defensive line, making a great block on Tim Canavan that allowed Jason Q to get rid of the ball, which again might not have been good, because Kerry Parks was all over the ball and almost was able to intercept that one for a turnover.
And it looked as though Wagner fell asleep on that play, because by the time Q brought out the offense, there was 5 seconds left on the play clock. He had to rush the offense out, and he did have to rush that play. That may have affected it a little bit, Dave.
The other thing on that play is when Jason Q had to scramble a bit, the receivers didn't come back to him. This is a team that has thrown 9 interceptions, though. They do turn the ball over quite a bit.
Q lines him up in the shotgun on 3rd and 5, and we're going to see some flags flying. Looked as though number 24 for Wagner College, Kevin Daniel, took a little bit of a head start off the line as a wide receiver.
Actually, that was Keto Lockwood, number 2, and it's tough to tell Keto anymore, because most of the jerseys of these Wagner players are just caked in mud. But it looked like the snap count was 3, and he went on 1. So it was not just he was off. He was off to the races. He was in the end zone before the rest of the team moved.
I think there was actually 2 guys out to the races there. I think Lockwood being one that you mentioned, and the man I saw there, Kevin Daniel, also. Anyway, you slice, it's a 5-yard penalty. That may have killed a little momentum here. So suddenly a 3rd down and 10 situation. Ball at the Monmouth 22. Still the shotgun formation. Q gets a high snap, gets it off. Looking to throw, goes down the middle. Ball is tipped incomplete. And a nice play there by the Monmouth defense to get a big mid on the ball and prevent a completed pass.
And it looks like it was on the tip was Kevin Shervin, who's wearing number 73, the sophomore out of Paramus, doing a great job getting one of his big hands up there, the 6-foot sophomore. Fourth down, and this is a little bit farther out than where they kicked from last time, and it looks like Jason Q's back in there, so they're going to go for it on 4th and 10.
Well, if Ricky Yardy had to come out for the field goal, it would be about a 41-yard attempt with the ball spot at the middle of the field. Where it would be on the 31-yard line, it would be in a mud puddle, so they have to go for it on 4th and 10. Q looking to throw. He's under some pressure, does get off a pass, looking toward the end zone, overshot the receiver, and once again, Monmouth contains.
Good coverage over there on the play by Mendez and Michael James. That was Keto Lockwood, the intended receiver. The Hawks will get the ball back on the change of possession, and they will take over first down with the ball at their own 25-yard line.
Dave, that's got to be a big break right now for Monmouth, knowing that Ricky Yardy really can't plant his foot and attempt a field goal because of the field conditions today.
Again, what we're going to see, we've seen it on the two big passes that Wagner's completed, that the patterns are going to have to be on the outsides of the field towards the sidelines because that's the only place where there's good footing.
3 wide receivers to the near left on first down. Rosbach looking to throw, sets up the screen for Varick, but he is taken down for a loss.
That was that Varick or was that Finer over there?
That was Jimmy Varick on the screen. I can't get the Monmouth player who made the play, but by making that play, it's a 5-yard loss on the pass pattern.
And it looked like over there on the stop for the Wagner College Seahawks was Vincent Fife coming in. It was Varick on the carry, or actually on the screen pass. Very bad pass because there was nowhere to run once he got it.
2nd down and 15. Ball's at the 17-yard line for Monmouth. Rosbach will look to throw again. No, this time he'll give it on the draw. It'll get to the 15 to about the 19-yard line. Number 31, Ralph O'Neill, his first carry of the game.
That'll be a pickup. It'll still be short of the original line of scrimmage. A good move, though, by O'Neill, because you notice that once he got the ball, he again started towards the sidelines where he knew he would get good footing. Down where the Hawks are, the footing isn't that bad, but now that the ball's set at about the 19-yard line, they're getting into the great sea of mud and chunked up grass that is in the middle of this field, almost between the 20s.
Under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. 3 wide receivers line up to the wide right. 1 to the near left on 3rd and 13. Rosbach looking to throw once again. Under some pressure. Tries to escape. He can't do it. This time he's sacked.
Looks like that was Richard Lapasana. He makes the sack. That's his second on the year, and this is the first one for the Wagner Seahawks. They come in with quite a number of sacks. I believe they have 45 on the year, and it looks like that Garblowski is going to come back in to kick once again.
Let's give credit to 92 Anthony Harper, also getting great penetration to set up the sack for Wagner. Garblowski's third punt of this game. His last one was tipped at the line. This time barely gets it off. It's another short kick, and it'll be taken at the 41-yard line. But number 30, the man receiving the punt, which was, if I'm not mistaken,
that's
Tremaine Hughes. He kneeled down when he got the football. You can't get back up in college football, so the ball is down at the 41-yard line. 1st and 10 once again for Wagner, who have had 2 golden opportunities to put points on the board, have not been able to do it. Now with 1 minute remaining in the first quarter.
They almost got a real good one there because once again on the punt, Ryan Tobin is coming in almost right up the middle on the kick.
I got to ask you what they can do to prevent that, but first let's go back to this play. 1st and 10 at the Monmouth 41. Jason Q has I formation behind him. He fakes the handoff to Lockwood. He'll roll out to the left side, looks to throw, gets off a pass. It's complete at the 30, down to the 27-yard line, and the clock stops with 52 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Sean Hurley over there on the reception, and it looked like it was David Lewis who drove him out of bounds, but a big play for the Hawks stops the Seahawks stops the clock at the 28-yard line. Sean Hurley coming into today's game, averaging 54 yards a game, 29 receptions, and he has not caught a touchdown pass. This is not a team that puts a lot of touchdowns in the air. They've only got 17 touchdowns on the ground, 11 scoring through the passing lane.
On first down, they'll hand it off to Keto Lockwood, and this time the Monmouth defense have gang-tackled Lockwood. And if he got back to the original line of scrimmage, he would have been lucky on that play.
Kevin Shervin over there, Craig Warren, and Tim Canavan teaming up to make the stop for the Hawks. Clock is running about 35 seconds and counting as we are here scoreless in the first quarter. And that's got to be a big lift for this Monmouth team that despite the 2 big plays that Wagner has had on offense, they're going to go into the end of this first quarter probably scoreless.
This will be the last play of the first quarter as Q brings up the offense once again with the I formation behind him. And on second down, they fake the handoff to Lockwood. Q looking to throw over the middle. It's tipped and incomplete. It was in and out of the hands of the intended receiver for Wagner College. And
it was intended for the backup tight end, Robert Walker. Now what happened, I think it was Joe Quelly over there, what he did was decided to play the man. When the ball bounced out of Walker's hands, it went up and behind him. Now if Little decided to play the ball instead of the man, he probably would have come up with an interception there. Instead, he just got a nice hit on Walker, and it brings up a third down for the Seahawks with 9.4 seconds left to go in this first quarter.
Shotgun formation for Q. 11 yards to go for the first down. The ball's at the Monmouth 28. Q stumbles a little bit in the mud, but he's looking to throw over the middle again. Gets it complete at the 20-yard line, but that'll be short of the first down. That was Keto Lockwood in on the catch, and that's going to be the last play of the first quarter.
John Mendez over there on the stop with Joe Little, short of the fourth down, and we'll find out what Wagner will do as we are at the end of the first quarter. No score, the Hawks and the Seahawks, and we will be back here at Kessler Field in 2 minutes on the Monmouth Football Radio Network.
Motorola brings you Radius, the first clearly affordable compact two-way radio. Now AR Communications, 91 Main Street, Highway 35 in Eatontown, has the wonderful new Radius by Motorola. These two-way radios bring you clearer transmission and reception at a price as small as they are. The portable model is less than 6.5 inches long, yet it packs all the power you need to keep in touch. Motorola designed Radius not only to be tough, but also for simple reflex operation. When seconds count, just push the button and talk. Radius comes in both portable and mobile units, and they're clearly affordable. You get Motorola quality, the standard of police and fire departments across the country. AR Communications has the complete line of Radius by Motorola. It's more than a radio, it's Radius. AR Communications, 91 Main Street, Highway 35 at the main gate of Fort Monmouth, Eatontown. Call 542-8695 for all your communications requirements. 542-8695. That's 542-8695. Radius by Motorola, the first clearly affordable two-way radio. Frank D. Fish Agency of Long Branch, your professional insurance agent, wants you to know about the insurance you're buying. A number of factors determine the cost of your homeowner's policy, including the type of policy you choose, how much insurance you carry, and the size of your deductible. The construction of your home or apartment is also a factor, as some buildings are more fire resistant than others. Available fire protection in your community and where you live are also factors. The Frank D. Fish Agency of Long Branch can shop your insurance requirements with many companies to obtain the most preferred rate consistent with adequate coverage. Service is important, and so is experience at the Frank D. Fish Agency in Long Branch. For all your insurance needs, call 870-0051. That's 870-0051. Service is important, and so is experience. Call the Frank D. Fish Agency in Long Branch.
We're back here at Kessler Field where the Seahawks try to run the ball wide to the left on fourth down and are just about a half yard short, and Monmouth takes over at their own 18.
Jason Q, the quarterback for Wagner, faked a pitch, went off on the bootleg to the near left side, but he came up a few inches short. And once again, the Monmouth defense, for the third time this game, have come up big. And now we're in the second quarter, 14:54 remaining. I'm Rob back and forth with my partner, Dave Wilson. Doug Rossback will bring up the offense. The ball's at the 18-yard line. Their own 18 on 1st and 10 with I formation behind them. Rossback will look to hand it off. Gives it to O'Neal. O'Neal will be stopped behind the line of scrimmage. He may have lost the yard on the play.
And we're trying to look, it looks like over on the stop, number 77, William Snell out of Stamford, Connecticut. A couple of Connecticut players on this Wagner team, and they've got a lot of people spread throughout the metropolitan area. Wagner based on Staten Island. They've got a few players from the Shore Conference, including Mark Dawson, who's starting in this defensive secondary out of Freehold Borough. He's starting as a freshman.
One back in the backfield for Rossback. It's Walter Christopic. On second down and 11 right now. Ball's at the 18-yard line. Rossback will roll to the left side, looking to throw. Gets the screen off. It's completed at the 22 to the 28-yard line.
Ron Polakowski over there, and that should be a first down as Polakowski is driven out by Roger Wiley. But I think he did get enough for the first down. He did. They're going to move the chains, and it's a Hawks first down with the ball at the 29-yard line. That's where they'll spot it.
Polakowski, a short-handed, short receiver. He's got 14 catches this season, averaging 8 yards per reception. And they'll line it up with the 4 wide receiver set. Jimmy Barrick, the lone back in the backfield. On 1st and 10, the ball spotted at the 29-yard line. Rossback calling signals clock at 14:10 remaining in the first half. Rossback, straight drop back, deep drop back. He's looking to throw, looks for the screen, completes it to Barrick at the 25. He cuts it up to the 30-yard line. He gained maybe 2 yards on the screen.
Over there on the stop, number 92, Anthony Harper. The problem with that screen pass is the blocking of John Tirico and Ryan Grant. They did not get over there in time to give Barrick some protection on the screen pass. Barrick was able to catch the ball, but not able to do much once he did. Catching the ball, and the defense caught up to him. He caught the ball about the 25, but his blocking didn't get there in time to allow him to get outside the 30.
2nd down and 9. He only gained a yard on the play. Barrick will take the quick hitter on the run and gain maybe another yard. On the screenplay, to go back to that, I may have explained why that was so slow in developing, because Rossback dropped back nearly 15 yards before he could get a pass off on that play.
I don't think it was so much before he could get the pass off. What he was doing was waiting for his linemen maybe to release and give Barrick some protection, and they weren't able to because they were being tied up by the defensive line. And there was one defensive lineman, and it looked like it was William Snell, who was making some great penetration right up the middle on Rossback.
Setting up right now a 3rd down, long 8. 4 wide receivers once again come into the pattern. Feiner and Kelleher will be in on the set. It's now only 3 wide receivers. It's supposed to be 4. Tight end checks in the situation. Rossback